here in Minnesota. And I was just wondering that since you've emerged as kind of the standard bearer of the faith-based style of governance the Republican Party has been promoting since about 1980, how do your religious views play into your positions on the healthcare faith? I know you cite religion in your positions on abortion and gay marriage and other issues. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people who vote for you because you are a faith-based candidate, and I'd like to hear your position on the issue based on your faith.
Okay, the question was, what is my position on health care based on my faith? As a member of Congress, my position on health care is based on the concept of freedom. Freedom is fundamental to most faith.
Okay, last question. Good
afternoon. My name is Paul Mueller, and I'm a resident of Ham Lake. And I would like to extend my sincere thank you to all of you, the panel, for having this conversation this afternoon, without question. I would like to drop this brief piece, though. It's been wonderful. It would have been bipartisan. How much more valuable it would have been. Maybe something. This shouldn't be about winners and losers. Right now, we have people losing out. Roughly 50 million Americans do not have access to health care. We touched on that earlier. Finish my point. Thank you very much. Affordable, quality, accessible health care. You know, I'm a classroom teacher. I have been for 25 years. Kids come into the classroom. They don't have health insurance. Kids who are sick can't learn. Wellness equals productivity, citizens and kids. It's a good thing. I support the public option because of the opportunities that it provides for competition. Now, here's my question. Senator Dave was on the radio last week at public radio, and he brought up a point. He said, you know, in 1991, that health reform effort got torpedoed. And it got torpedoed because of politics, not policy and substance. He said that point blank, and I think he's absolutely right. What are we going to do to make sure, what are you folks going to do to make sure that this does not get torpedoed because of politics and we're going to substance? What are we going to do to keep politics out of this?
What are you going to do?
Number one, we're in a political realm, and so politics inevitably seems to be a part of it. I don't want to see government takeover occur. So I don't think that that's going to be a positive solution for us going forward. One thing I would like to talk about are the 47 million without insurance. What we need to recognize is we need to take that number apart, because it isn't 47 million people.
It is.
And again, in that 47 million number, this is what the president's proposing. That if we bring those 47 million people under the taxpayer paying their way on health care, that will actually cut the costs for government, and we won't have to cut anyone else's health care options. That just defies logic and common sense. It's not going to happen. So we need to look at that reality. We also need to look at who we're talking about. It actually, when you take that 47 million figure apart, you're talking about people that are making in excess of a certain cohort, or people making over $75,000 a year who aren't buying health insurance just because they don't want to. Then you have about 20% that are illegal aliens that we don't necessarily a large cohort of people that are between the ages of 18 and 34 who maybe are making $50,000 or maybe something in that neighborhood. They just don't want to buy health care. You get down to actually the chronically uninsured, and this number doesn't stay static. Most people are uninsured about 18 months. Maybe 8 million people at most. We can do something with tax credits and other options in the marketplace, or vouchers for very difficult places, or high-risk pools. There are things that we can do to solve those really tough cases. But let's not destroy health care for another 130
million. With that, again, I'd like to thank the school district here.
Can Dr. Burgess?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I just want to address the gentleman. I'll even let this be my closing remarks. I mean, you asked about the question of bipartisanship, and as I said before, really the Democrats do own Washington right now. They can do whatever they want. They don't need Michele.
Be careful what you wish for.
Their deal. Now, where was I on Monday? I was down in McAllen, Texas. Two Democratic congressmen asked me to be down there and talk to their county medical society because they're having a big problem because some of the adverse publicity they have gotten about an article that was written in the New Yorker. So I was happy to do that, happy to be a part of it. We don't agree on everything, but there are things on which we do agree.
During the fall, I met with Phil Shalero, who was the transition team member for the incoming Obama administration. I said, look, I didn't give up a 25-year practice to be on the sidelines when this stuff is done. Let me be a resource to you. We're not going to agree on a lot of stuff, but there may be places we agree. I went to Henry Waxman, my chairman, my committee. I said, didn't give up a 25-year career to sit on the sidelines. I'll be happy to work with you where we can, and where we can't, we can't. He thanked me very much for showing up. Closed the door, it's the last I ever saw. I got invited down to the White House for a photo op in March, and that's been it. That's been it. So this has not been, there has not been the open invitation. If you wanted me to be part of this bill, put tort reform on the table and say, okay, doctor, you got to take mandates, you got to take public option, so we'll get you tort reform. I'm not agreeing. All I know is, my vote was no, but they never even tried. They never even tried to bring me along and bring me in and say, what is it going to take for you to bring some Republicans with you so we can